grief opens me, opens anybody. When I think of years of trauma work, I had a lot of PTSD from my childhood, and I went through a bunch of SE work, and extraordinary grief, wrung me up like literally my body would twist. Where it left me at the end of each session, and each time this happened, it went on about every week for a year till my mom died, and then I realized it was all about allowing myself to forgive her when she died so I could love my mom when we put her down in the ground. Every time, at the end of that, the world was new. Every time I went through a session and I was vulnerable, I didn't have anything on my mind. I didn't hate anybody. I was just open and present. And I was really connected to life. As connected to life as any of us have been in all the moments that we've all experienced in our lives at different points when we're fully alive. I share at the moment from not knowing. And for me, that's a very vulnerable place to be. And I share from that in my understanding that it's in that place of openness where any two people can come together, left or right. Because when we're there, there's something fundamental that happens, that we relax with each other and we can hear each other's ideas without getting the blood pressure going. It just becomes a discussion, and most of the hyperbole and the anger and all of that other stuff and all the decor and all the news and all the details all vanish, and it becomes really simple. We're all the same. Well, nobody wants to see babies hurt. All those people care. When they can finally come down and connect with another person, they see that nobody wants a baby hurt. Even Mr. Trump, maybe he's beyond. Maybe he's the exception. And so for me, if you feel what I'm saying and how we share in this, I feel at the moment the sorrow of so many people suffering unnecessarily. And as a result, doing terrible things to each other. Families splitting, spouses not talking. Because the grief brings about the vulnerability, because in that, when I can accept it and be okay, talking to you, and we can just be two people, I don't have to know who you are, but we could sit here for a while and have a really nice connection, and I could tell you some things, and you could tell me some things that I might not like, but I know I'd get up from this meeting and shake your hand and feel glad that I met you afterwards. The reason I'm here, and in this vulnerability, and I guess this is what I had to offer, is it's in that kind of an understanding that we can come together really powerfully as a group. When we see that who we are, who I am as a human being, in connection with others is a very powerful thing, especially if I'm not caught up in all my ideas of who you are, our identities and things. Then we have amazing power to make change, because we really are connected. It's how the great leaders, Gandhi and Martin Luther King and those other people, they did it. It was the connection they made and people being in that carried everybody forward. I'm really glad I came just to hear, outside of my narrow circle of life, just what's out there in terms of fear and anger and rage and outrage and hope and despair. And that it sounds like towards the end here people see that incredible value in feeling connected to what we think are people with other ideas, but I think it's just we're connected as people. And it's in that we're able to really move forward together. Because for me, I guess you'd say the goal is, if I can see my opponent as another human being, just like me, I can talk to him or her. The Senate used to once they called them the loyal opposition. It was when the Senate, before it became, this disgusting, this mess. It was, yes, I disagree with you, but what are you doing for dinner?
Yeah.
you know? And it wasn't selling out. It was simply they were human beings when they got out of work. Right? And they respected each other for that. They held a high standard, and to understand that my ideas, my beliefs are not who I am, and neither are yours, allows us to share and talk about things that are difficult.